Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Full Moon Fridays. You're going to want to stick around to the very end of this episode, folks, because Borp is going to present an idea for the next franchise that we're going to watch. I think. Well, we'll see how that goes. But before we get to the franchise, we're going to talk about a movie here called Dr. Mordrid. My name's Matthew, joined once again by Steve.
Yep, I'm still here. It sounds like Matt's still sick. Weird. Like several weeks later.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just can't kick this. I can't kick this sickness. And Borp.
Hello.
So, Dr. Mordrid, this came out in 1992. There's an interesting backstory behind this. Allegedly, it's all very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's all very sketchy in terms of how this movie came about. But the mythology behind Dr. Mordrid is that Charles Band somehow got the rights to Doctor Strange from Marvel at the time and took so long in pre-production that Marvel took the rights back. He lost them. And then he decided, well, fuck it. We've already done so much. Let's just make Dr. Mordrid, which is his original idea, of course, as it so eloquently states at the beginning of this. So, Borp, were you aware of Dr. Mordrid before this?
I had no idea this movie existed, but I did. I took one look at the cover, and I'm like, well, this is a Doctor Strange ripoff. And then I clicked on the movie, and then it's like based on an original idea from Charles Band, and I literally laughed out loud.
What was the movie that he also said based on an original idea by Charles Band, but it was the Invasion of the Body Snatchers? What movie was that?
Seed People.
Seed People.
Seed People. Yeah.
Can't forget about Seed People.
One word. Seed People. Gotta say it.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, Charles Band, the genius that he is, a creative genius. Steve.
I'm sorry. It's so funny that he like fumbled the rights. I just like, you get the rights to a Marvel property and like, no, I have Puppet Master movies to make.
This guy shits out films so goddamn fast, and yet somehow he could not get a Doctor Strange movie out quick enough.
And like, to be fair, like comic book movies weren't really a thing. Maybe you would prioritize like other things. I don't know, but like it's just so funny. It's just anyways.
Yeah, and he's got the Paramount money behind him at this point in time, so it doesn't seem to have been a reason as to why he couldn't get the movie out.
Yeah, I think this might be a little bit unfair because, as Borp said, comic book movies were not a thing like at this era, or at least like successful comic book movies were not a thing. It could be Paramount was like, yeah, we'll get to Doctor Strange when we get to it.
Yeah, it's just very funny in hindsight.
Well, here's the thing though, like Charles Band would have had to have paid Marvel for the rights to Doctor Strange. So he basically just wasted, and they couldn't have been that cheap. I mean, obviously, back then, well, I guess maybe they were cheap because Roger Corman did his Fantastic Four movie. Didn't even release it, right? So, yeah, you're right. Marvel wasn't the big thing back then, but he cared enough about Doctor Strange to obtain the rights to make it and then drop the ball and made Dr. Mordrid instead. Steve, had you seen this or heard of it?
I had not. I had heard of it, but no, I had not seen this. I knew it was a Doctor Strange ripoff. I knew it had Jeffrey Combs, and that was the extent of my knowledge of this movie.
Yeah, co-directed by Charles Band's dad, Albert Band, as well. So this is a father-son.
Sure, he died disappointed in his family.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Jeez. Okay, Steve. Well, on that pleasant note, why don't you take us through Dr. Mordrid? Mute.
Didn't his father do a bunch of low-budget movies as well? Like, isn't that how Band got into all this bullshit?
Yeah. His dad was a filmmaker, I think, in Italy. Back in the day, and that's how basically Charles Band got into the business, was being on movie sets with his dad.
I bet his final words were like this pained cry of "my legacy," and then he's gone.
Look at this, Borp. This is something you might find interesting about Albert Band.
Okay.
His name is actually Albert Band is Alfredo Antonini. That's his actual birth name. Yep,
Oh,
Italy, man, Italy.
I
He made his debut as a producer and director in The Young Guns from 1956, combining the two then popular genres of westerns and juvenile delinquent films. In the late, I'm not saying you're a juvenile delinquent, Borp. Just stay with me here. I'm going to get here.
okay.
In the late 1950s, he moved to Europe, producing a variety of films, beginning in Sweden with a film called
Mm.
Face of Fire, 1959, based on another of Stephen Crane's stories, The Monster. So you need to find a Swedish film called Face of Fire to really get the full Albert Band experience.
Okay, I'm looking at this movie. It stars Cameron Mitchell, James Whitmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything here looks very American to me.
Well, I
I was
mean, I'm
I
sure that's
was
Americans in Sweden making an American movie, but
I
maybe
was
you'll
hoping
recognize your homeland
I was
Okay.
when you look
hoping
at
that Borp would just be like, "Oh, I've already heard that. Like every Christmas after we watch Donald Duck, we turn on Faces of Fire. Like this is the
Yeah.
most well-known movie in the history of ever. You uncultured American swine."
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to Google this. Well, okay,
No.
let's get into Doctor
Okay.
Mordrid.
Okay. We
Let's
got
get
to.
it.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. But
Fuck,
yes,
no,
you're right.
fucking,
Let's move on.
fucking, you say whatever you want. Host of the show. Go ahead, post it.
I'm just wanting to say that I'm looking at some of the people behind the scenes, and I'm seeing some Swedish names here. We got an
There
Igmar.
you go.
Got
You
an
know
Igmar. We got an
why do you
Eric.
why do you doubt me? Just find
Okay.
that movie, watch it,
All
and
right.
review it for Outpost Unknown. This is the one thing I need in my life. I'm dying here, Borp. I'm dying. I want you to watch this movie and review it for Outpost Unknown.
Okay. I will.
Thank you.
It's on YouTube. From
Steve, please, what the hell is Dr. Mordred all about?
Let me rescue the show. So Dr. Mordred, definitely not Doctor Strange. Dr. Mordred is Jeffrey Combs wearing his best blue pajamas that are 3 sizes too big for him. And so the movie starts with him talking to Monitor, and the Monitor are like just two eyes just pasted on like the background of just like the universe. And so Dr. Mordred and the Monitor are talking to each other. It's like, oh, evil is coming. You got to be prepared. And Dr. Mordred's like, okay. Uh, the main bad guy in this that Dr. Mordred is fighting is a guy named Cabal, played by Brian Thompson, who played Shao Kahn in the second awful Mortal Kombat movie.
He's
Uh,
also the alien bounty hunter in X-Files. Another plug to go listen to Exhuming the X-Files.
Matt, no one cares about the X Files. You got to let this dream die. X Files is not a thing anymore. You're not bringing it back.
It's great, and we've got multiple subscribers from the show, so shut up.
No,
We've
no.
got no subscribers from this stupid show.
That's because we're all.
that's
I
for
didn't
sure.
say that what we are doing is good and helpful by comparison.
No,
The only
this is
person
this
that's
is
subscribed to this show is Charles Band. That's it.
All right, so Cabal is I mean, I don't even know how to set this up. I'll lay out the characters. Dr. Mordred obviously is Jeffrey Combs. He is the not Doctor Strange. Cabal is this evil sorcerer who's trying to bring demons back to the world. And then we have a woman named Samantha who is like she also lives in Dr. Mordred's apartment building, and she is like a police, not a police officer, but like a police, I don't know, psychologist
Yeah.
thing, question
Criminal
mark.
psychologist.
So, Dr. Mordred lives in this giant like apartment complex, and he has a room all to himself. And this, I actually like thought this was a super cool set. He just has like this one giant open room with like a map of the world and like all sorts of ancient like magic tomes, like a full library. Uh,
It's so goofy because they show like this regular like New York apartment building, whatever, and then suddenly like he's got this gigantic open concept room filled
I
with
mean,
crazy
I
shit.
feel like that's just a holdover from Doctor Strange, because doesn't he also live in like the Sanctum Supreme, where it just looks like a normal New York building, and then you go inside and it's this giant magic place. I don't know. I feel like this is something that they just straight up stole from Doctor Strange. It's
No, no, no. It's
Oh,
based
no.
on an original
Oh, I'm
idea.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's get it right. Charles Band's original idea, Steve. How dare you?
Okay, I apologize to Charles Band. I thought I noticed some similarities to Doctor Strange, but clearly I was incorrect about that. The point is, I liked this
Yeah,
set
it's a cool set.
where
Yeah.
Doctor Mordrid lives. And so he's got a library built in. He's got like a raven is just a pet. He's got all sorts of like news, like the TVs like following crime news all across the world, and as I understand it, he's looking for like certain signs. So he's monitoring like all crime across the earth, but it's like certain crimes that he's looking for. Like there are certain things that the bad guys will need to pull off their evil plan, and so he's trying to take note of when has this thing been stolen. So like a shipment of diamonds gets stolen, and so like, okay, the bad guy is going to need diamonds to cast this spell, and so he takes notice of stuff like that.
He's trying to
Uh,
get the Philosopher's Stone, right?
yeah, which turns out was just like in a museum the whole time. But he's monitoring thefts of things that a sorcerer would need to cast spells is what we're going for here. We see Cabal, Brian Thompson, to steal things. He doesn't just go rob a bank. He mind controls people to steal things for him, and then they kill themselves, and he runs away with the diamonds or the platinum or whatever. Uh, Hey, look, this movie's like an hour and 10 minutes, so there's not a whole lot to talk about here. So if I'm going fast, that's because I don't have anything to say. I, am I wrong?
Oh, I thought that
Am
was
I-
the end of the show. I thought we were done.
All right.
No, I'm just setting the stage here because a lot of this movie is just like people like just kind of having casual interactions with one another until the movie
Yeah.
ends.
Yep.
So that's the setup. Like Dr. Mordred's good guy, Cabal is bad guy, Samantha is the like love interest, like police person that will team up with Dr. Mordred. So Cabal is trying to collect a bunch of alchemical elements, so he needs like diamonds and platinum and uranium. He's trying to get ingredients to cast a spell that will allow like demons to invade the earth. uh Dr. Mordred knows this is coming, so at some point he teleports himself to like a floating mystical castle in the middle of space, and he gets there, and it's like this old, like, I don't, did Charles Band have a castle at this point still, because it's like a castle setting, but I
Yeah,
don't know if.
he had his castle all the way up until like 2011 or something. Like
All
he
right, well,
kept that as long as he could.
this takes place in part of a castle, and I have no idea if it's that castle or if this is like a set. But anyways, Dr. Mordred teleports himself to this mystical floating castle in space because he wants to find out like what's going on here, because Cabal should be imprisoned at this castle, and yet things that Cabal would need to cast a spell are being stolen. And so he goes to this castle and he sees that Cabal has escaped. He runs into a dude whose eyes have been gouged out. I actually thought this was a pretty cool effect, at least for the 90s. This guy's
Yep.
missing his eyeballs, and there's just like these big, like red, bloody scabs in place of his eyes. It turns out that Cabal escaped and killed all of like the castle guards except for this guy, which is code for we didn't have the budget for extras in this scene. So it's just this guy, and so
Spent
Mord-
it all on the licensing fees to Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mordred and this guy catch up. Like, he was a castle guard. Mordred heals his eyes, and there's just like a
They talk for a while before he heals his eyes.
they do talk for a while.
Oh, by the way, I can heal you like that. Okay.
I want to point out here that one of the things I really, really dislike about this movie,
Mhm.
and it surprised me, was Jeffrey Combs. I hated how Jeffrey Combs acted in this movie. He's got like zero charisma, zero personality. He's just very like monotone and wooden throughout this whole thing. And every time Jeffrey Combs was on screen, I hated the movie, which is, it shocked me because I love Jeffrey Combs. We've seen him in a million things and he's great. He was not good in this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like he had no idea how to play a superhero. Like, no idea
Yeah.
whatsoever. And who would ever expect him to? Like, was Jeffrey Combs cast as Doctor Strange,
I
or
think
was he
so.
not cast until they lost the rights? I have no idea. But yeah, he has no idea how to play a superhero, which fair, or Albert Band had no idea how to direct Jeffrey Combs, which is also fair. But yeah, no one. I would not call anyone in this movie a good act, except for Brian Thompson. I won't call his acting good, but he hammed it up, which is
Yeah.
exactly what he needed to do in this role.
Yes, he knew the type of movie he was in. Jeffrey
Because it's
Combs
the
did
same
not.
type of movie that he's always in.
Yes.
Anyways, so Dr. Mordrid heals the castle guard, and they look up and there's like, I don't even know how to describe it. There's just a metal plate over the wall, and Mordred and the castle guard are like, oh yeah, there's demons behind that. So Cabal is on Earth to get the alchemy ingredients together to cast a spell to release those demons onto the earth. So that's the setup. That's what everyone's trying to do here. Uh, Mordred goes back to Earth and kind of bonds with Samantha a little bit. You find out that Mordred is actually like owns the building and is the landlord of this building, which I'm trying to figure out like where did that come from, because it's such a nothing thing in this movie. Oh yeah, Dr. Mordred also is everyone's landlord. Goes absolutely nowhere. Like it's
Yeah,
never mentioned again after
and
it's
he
brought up the
acts
first time.
so weird about it too. Like she's in his sanctum sanctorum, for lack of a better word, original idea by Mr. Charles Band there. And then like she just starts snooping through his mail, and she starts seeing the checks from everybody in there, and she's like, "Oh, you're the landlord," and he has this like stupid look on his face, he's like, "Oh." And I'm just like, what the hell? What? I can't even talk. What am I watching here? Oh, I don't want to bury the lead, but I didn't like this movie.
That's fair. So, anyways, Mordred is we got the setup now. Cabal's trying to release these demons, and Samantha is kind of has like a budding romance with Doctor Mordred.
Because he's so charismatic.
He's so charismatic. He can't resist that charm from him. Uh, so I'm just gonna kind of skip ahead because again, a lot of this is just people having random interactions. Uh,
Well, the cops arrest him, right? They
Yes,
think he's
that's
the
where I
one.
was jumping to.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
the cops arrest him. So someone dies. A woman gets killed, and like a brand gets like burned into her head. And so Samantha's like, "Oh yeah, this looks like occult bullshit." Uh, Captain Police Sergeant Man, how about go talk to Mordred? Like he knows about this stuff. He can like point you towards a suspect. And so idiot police captain sergeant man just goes and arrests him. He's like, oh yeah, he knows too much about this. It must be him that's done this.
Probable
Uh,
cause, baby.
so Mordred gets arrested, and Samantha has to help him break out of jail using his uh not amulet of Agamotto or whatever the fuck that is.
It's
The,
basically like the Trancer's weapon or whatever that freezes time.
oh, the long second.
It's the long second,
Yeah,
only in
but
an amulet form.
it's a mystical amulet worn by the top sorcerer of Earth. One might call him a sorcerer supreme. It's a completely original amulet created by Charles Band.
I don't know what you're trying to say here, Steve.
And remember, the Eye of Agamotto like
Yeah.
stops time in the comics and in the current MCU. But original idea by Charles Band. The original time-stopping amulet worn by the supreme sorcerer of Earth. Samantha grabs that amulet and uses it to free Dr. Mordred. And so they go to the park, and they're trying to figure out like. I don't even know how we got to this point, but like Cabal has got all of the ingredients he needs, all of like the diamonds, the platinum,
He's
the
got
alchemy ingredients.
those two like punks. Remember, he's got
Oh
the
yeah,
punk
there's
girl and the punk
two,
guy.
yeah, and the punk girl, I think he like killed her, and that's the person they found dead with like
Oh
the
yeah,
brand on her head.
there's just a scene suddenly where she's standing completely naked, and she's like, I'll do anything for you. And her boyfriend is probably just off camera. Um, and so that's where you get your obligatory nudity in this film. That's
Yes.
where you get your R rating. Is you just get some full frontal from this chick, and then he just murders her,
This
straight up
this
murders her.
the R rating. That's something that was like I was thinking about as I watched this movie. Like this movie is only an R rating because of that nudity and because that girl's boyfriend will not stop saying fuck. You remove those two elements and this is
Yeah.
like a PG film for kids.
Oh yeah. You know that you're right.
I know, I know.
Congratulations.
I'm
Congratulations on
correct.
piecing that all together.
Uh, Cabal is going to he's got to get the Philosopher's Stone, which is in a museum, and so Dr. Mordrid and Samantha are on the opposite side of town. They're like, "Fuck, like this is New York. It would take it would take an hour to get there in this traffic, and yeah, it's not like I can magically teleport or anything. Oh shit, I can magically teleport, and so." He's gonna have like an out of body experience, and so he just lays down in the grass, and he's like, "I'm going to send my spirit to fight Cabal. I
Yeah.
just saying that I need you to protect me, protect my mortal body while I am gone." And so apparently, even though Dr. Mordrid like casts his spirit out of his spirit apparently still has to walk there because in the time it takes him to get there, his spirit, which apparently is intangible, it can just walk through shit or maybe fly. By the time he gets there, Cabal has already taken over the museum, is already in the process of casting the spell to summon the demons. This is a very like slow spirit journey that Dr. Mordred's going on. So Dr. Mordred gets there and Cabal's like, ah ha ha, you can't you sent your spirit. You can't touch me. You can't do anything. I'm just gonna be over here casting my spell and fuck you. Some police show up to stop Cabal, and obviously, they're no match for him. So Cabal casts a magic spell on a Tyrannosaurus skeleton, which brings the skeleton to life and starts killing these cops. And so Dr. Mordred's like, well, I can't physically interact with anything, but I can also cast spells. And so Dr. Mordred casts a spell on a mammoth skeleton. And so the Tyrannosaurus skeleton and the mammoth skeleton start fighting, and then Mordred pieces things together. Is like, oh shit, like I it's exactly what I just said. I can't interact with things physically, but the stuff I cast spells on can interact with things physically. And so he just tells the mammoth skeleton to turn around and stab Cabal with tusk, thus saving the day. It's like by the way, like Cabal, he's gone through all this effort to steal just stacks of platinum and diamonds and uranium. And he's like, I'm gonna summon the demons from the mystical castle in space. And so he sends a beam of light out to the castle to hit this metal plate that's blocking the demons in. The metal plate opens. There's 3 demons in there. 3 little ass demons were getting destroyed.
Oh
But
god.
anyways, like Dr. Mordred tells the mammoth skeleton to turn around and stab Cabal. Uh, and so the skeleton does, and Cabal just instantly dies, and the demon metal door in the sky castle closes, and so the day is saved. Like the punk guy that kept saying fuck all the time goes to kill Dr. Mordred, but they stop him, and then Monitor comes back and says, "Oh, Dr. Mordred, the humans know too much about magic now. You must cross over," or whatever that means, and so Mordred leaves, but apparently, like every Christmas now, he gets to come back and drink eggnog with Samantha, and that's the movie.
That
Cool.
is the movie.
I've been kind of quiet. I hated this bit.
Oh hi, hi. Oh
I
hi, who are
fucking
you?
no, like I really dislike this movie. I think for okay, this is gonna sound like a silly criticism, but you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. Like I think this is one of those like bad fantasy movies where everything just seems it's all just a bunch of nonsense, and I get so frustrated by it. I'm not really a fan of fantasy in general, or like superhero stuff. But the thing that Marvel and to a way lesser extent, DC, but with some of the Batman stuff, DC has done good with this. It's like they figured out that like, oh no, people actually really like these characters, and if people like characters, you can get them in the door. You can get people normies like me who would not watch, like who would not never read a comic book. Like you can get them through the door.
Yeah.
And there's just like there's nothing here. There's like no character. Like Jeffrey Combs is so flat, and it kind of feels like
Oh
at
yeah.
some points he's like trying to do the like Bruce Campbell-esque charisma, and it just doesn't work. And then at other times it's like really just stoic and stale. Like I just don't understand what they were going for there. I also like really dislike it. It's like I don't know. Maybe this is like me being bored by the movie, and it actually was defined at some point. But like I don't think I never understood what his powers were, because it just seemed like he could do whatever whenever.
That's just how magic works in comic books. There are very few rules.
Yeah, and I guess I don't know. I was just very frustrated throughout the entire runtime.
Yeah, I thought this movie sucked. It was bad. I was watching this, and it was, again, I wanted to get on board because I like Jeffrey Combs a lot. He's done a lot of great stuff. And man, I could not get on board with our protagonist here because he's the most milquetoast, uninteresting person in the world. He's wearing a stupid fucking blue sweater, basically with a cape for most of this movie. They didn't even bother to make him look cool. I guess because Doctor Strange is red, they had to make Doctor Mordrid blue. Um, and yeah, it's just I did not like the girl, like criminal psychologist lady. There's this whole kind of like subplot that goes nowhere about how there's all this sexism. She's a woman trying to explain and help the cops, but the main cop guy is like an ass to her and all of that. But that goes nowhere either. None of that goes anywhere. And so you have like basically 80 minutes of nothing held together by magic. Um, you know, like you said, Borp, Jeffrey Combs could just do things whenever he decides he can do them. Or he conveniently forgets he can do things until he needs to remember he can do things. And it's all stupid. It's just fucking stupid. But I will say, the very end, the stop motion effects by David Allen looked awesome again. Like, he's a saving grace in a lot of these full moon movies when the stop motion occurs, because the dinosaur sort of and mastodon battle, whatever, it looked cool. It looked cool when the T-Rex was like eating the cop and everything like that. And you have the stop motion police officer flailing around in the bone jaw of it. Looked cool, but that's like, I don't know, 30 seconds of the movie. And how dumb for Cabal to just, that's it. He just gets stabbed and it's over and it's done. Fuck it. Hated this movie. Hated everything about it.
Matt's out here saying that he can tank a stabbing from a stop motion mammoth skeleton.
I could, yeah, for sure. I'd cast a spell or something to heal myself. Keep in the fight. By the way, according to IMDb, one of the stop motion werewolves from The Howling appears in the climax as one of Cabal's minions. So one of those three things coming out apparently was a werewolf from The Howling.
Oh, okay.
But IMDb would never. it would never steer me astray.
There's never been a good Howling movie. Just throwing that out there.
I agree.
I haven't seen a single one. I should probably.
I think the original Howling kind of sucks.
I should watch that at some point.
Nah.
So I have
You've got your movie to watch, Faces of Fear or whatever. That's your movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve. I'll allow it.
I have a slightly different take on this. Like, this is not a good movie. Like, this is an objectively bad movie.
Here we go.
I found it like charming in a way. Like, I think this would fit in perfectly fine in like the universe with like the old like Lou Ferrigno Hulk stuff, like from like the 70s or 80s or whatever. Like, this works perfectly fine, kind of alongside that stuff. So if you liked all of, like, the really super low rent live action Marvel stuff from that era, I think you'll find enjoyment here. Uh, I did not hate this nearly as much as you two did.
Okay. I will
I'd
say
say
about
you
15 minutes
probably.
in, I started to really lose my patience, and I thought to myself, this does seem like some bullshit that Steve would enjoy.
So I want you to keep that thought, that attack on my character in mind, while Bort pitches us the next franchise that we're going to go into, which is something that he really fought for
That
and wanted us to watch.
This is slander. This is slander. I just looked at a Wikipedia page, and now you're throwing this all in my face. Evil Bong. There's 10 Evil Bong movies, and it seems fairly important to the later history of Full Moon. So we should probably at least watch one of those and then
What I'm
see.
hearing Borp saying is we should watch all 10, like in a
I
row.
mean, you
I
kind
mean,
of have to, right? You can't just this is like the Dark Tower series, like Charles Band's
yeah,
Dark Tower series, where
right.
it brings in elements of the entire full moon multiverse in one big gigantic opus of a story. So you can't just watch one; you got to watch it all the way through. And I think you know that, Borp, and I think you're peer pressuring us into doing it.
Well, then we're committing to 10 more movies.
You heard it, folks. You heard it. Borp has committed us to 10 movies of Evil
Borp,
Bong.
Borp, we will do this for you. Like Matt and I clearly were not into this whatsoever. We will do this for you though.
Fucking hate it here.
Think about it, though, Steve. Once we're through this, which we feel is probably going to be the most painful of all of these things, we've got nowhere to go but up after that, right? Because surely there can't be anything worse in the Full Moon canon than 10 Evil Bong movies.
So there's 10. Like let's make some predictions right now. How many of those 10 do we think we will actually enjoy? Not actually the movie is good, just that we will enjoy and not hate our time with.
Guys, there might be 11 movies because the ginger weed.
This just keeps getting fucking worse.
Steve, there's going to be 14 by the time we get through the 10 or 11.
Because I looked on Wikipedia and it says there's 10 entries, but then for the Gingerweed Man 2021, there's chapter 1.
Ginger Weed Man.
There's chapter 1, the Weed Man, and then chapter 2, the Nub.
The nub. Okay. Okay. This is. I mean, this is just punishment. It's just going to be sheer punishment. This is just going to make 2025 even worse. It's an even worse year. I mean, we might as well. The world's coming to an end. We might as well finish it off by harming ourselves emotionally, probably physically. By the time we get through all 11 Ginger Dead or not Evil Bong movies, just for full disclosure. I fucking hate stoner comedy. Hate it. Everyone knows how much I hate comedy already. Generally speaking, I don't like comedies. I feel that for the next, I don't know, 6 months of this show, you guys are going to hear me enraged constantly. So I'm just warning everybody now. I'm gonna fully go off on these movies.
Thanks, Borp. Thanks for doing this to us.
Yeah. Thanks, Borp.
Yeah, this is completely my fault.
Yeah, I'm never coming to Sweden ever. That's it, folks. Do we have any more? Like anything else with Dr. Mordrid that you want to talk about?
No, you guys hated it. I was fine with it. This is a nothing movie. It's an hour and it's an hour and 14 minutes, but the last 4 minutes of that are actually credits. The first 4 minutes are credits. So it's like the movie is about just an hour long, and it could have been like 35 minutes.
I'm curious why they decided to do the R rating on this, because at the time, Charles Band did have the Moonbeam label, which was his films for kids. And so there's a whole run of Full Moon franchises that were like
God, do we have to get into those at some point?
I think like Prehysteria and all those, like those were for children. So why would you turn Doctor Strange into an R-rated movie? Or sorry, Dr. Mordrid, my mistake. My mistake.
Original idea.
I need to cut that out.
Yeah, why would you turn Dr. Mordrid into an R-rated movie just to show some full frontal nudity? and the word fuck. It just
It's,
seems weird to me.
yeah,
It seems weird.
these are all valid questions.
That's how
Speaking
we
of,
make the money. We take this movie and we edit it into a PG rating, and then we re-release it as like Dr. Dormid, and then we make all of the money.
we could, AI is becoming such a prevalent thing now. We could probably AI Jeffrey Combs into having some sort of personality into the movie. So like we could probably tinker with this and make something pretty good.
Split it into 10 parts and put it up on TikTok. That's how
Well,
people
let's
watch
not.
movies
Well,
now.
actually, we probably just gave Charles Band the idea. I mean, he's already done a black and
Mm.
white Trancers movie now, which is just Trancers in black and white. Sorry,
When
folks,
you
we forgot to
yeah,
mention that news.
when you shared that in the Discord, my heart dropped. I'm like, oh no, there's another one.
And then it dropped a little further when you
Yeah,
realize it's just a cash grab. I'm
yeah.
just going to put a black and white filter on Trancers, my movie, and then put it out for people to buy.
Gonna put this MKV file into Premiere and turn down the sliders on the color.
Robin, are you sure you want this empire? Whatever's left of this empire. Okay, so that's it, folks. That's Dr. Mordrid. Stay tuned. Next episode, we're going to dive into Evil Bong. I wonder if all of these are on Tubi or not. I'm not buying these movies.
Yeah, I will not spend money on this.
So we will watch as many of these as we can find. And if we can't find them, that's our out. So I'm presenting that. Are you guys on board with that?
Yeah,
I'm on board
yeah.
with that.
I'm unfortunately, Evil Bong is on Tubi.
God
But
damn
are
it.
the other 11 or
I'll look
12?
at
Let's
Evil
look right now. Let's look.
Oh,
Evil Bong
God.
666 is on Amazon Prime.
Let me guess. Is that the 6th episode of the franchise?
I think the way this is structured on Letterboxd, there's no way to know.
Okay, hold
All
on.
right, hang on. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Oh no, my
7,
heart's dropping.
8, 9 movies. 9 Evil Bong movies on Tubi. The only
Alright.
one that's not on Tubi is. Wait, no. Wait, Bork, what was the one that you found on Prime or wherever?
Gingerweed Man, was that the one?
Okay, I don't see Gingerweed Man.
Okay.
There's
That
at
might be-
least 9 Evil Bong movies on Tubi.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell, we're gonna die.
Okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia here. So we have Evil Bong. We got Evil Bong 2 King Bong. We got Evil Bong 3D The Wrath of Bong. We've got Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
None of these names sync up with what's on Tubi.
Okay,
So
well,
what's Evil Bong 2 called according to Wikipedia?
hold on, let me scroll back up. King Bong.
I'm glad we're
According to
getting all this recorded. It's
Tubi
important
has
stuff.
Evil Bong 2 Devil's Harvest.
Okay, well, this says Evil Bong 2 King Bong. Evil Bong 3D The Wrath of Bong.
Evil Bong 3 is called Reefer Madness according to Tubi.
Okay, then we get Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
That's on here as is.
Evil Bong 420.
That's here as is.
Evil Bong High Five.
Yep, that's here.
Evil Bong 666.
That's here.
Evil Bong 777.
Yep, that's here.
The Gingerweed Man.
I don't see that, but I haven't searched for it directly yet.
And this is in chapters. So this might be like Baby Oopsie situation because there's chapter 1, the Weed Man, and then chapter 2, the Nub.
Okay, so it's one movie that he is turned into 3 movies.
Yeah. And then we have Evil Bong 888 Infinity High.
That's here.
And that appears to be the end, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, God.
Okay.
We're not.
Oh, wait. No. There's more. There's more. There's a television special, Steve. On April 20th, 2022, Full Moon released a documentary television special on their Amazon Prime channel and their streaming app titled Bad to the Bong 16 Years of EB, celebrating 16 years of the original Evil Bong film, highlighting the series' best moments and including the trailer for Evil Bong 888 Infinity High. I will bet all of the wealth I have accumulated in my life that Bad to the Bong 16 Years of EB is a clip show of
Sure
all
sounds
of
like
the
it.
other ones, with a
Hey.
few interviews sprinkled in.
When we watch Evil Bong 1, we have the option to watch it with under the 13 Nights of Elvira label, where we get Elvira occasionally popping into the movie.
Oh, jeez. I think this might actually be a Joe Bob thing too. I think Joe
Huh.
Bob has done one, but I'd have to look. He's done a bunch of stuff with Full Moon. I don't know, man.
I think I'm done with this episode.
Yeah, I googled Evil Bong 2, and Google was like, "Hey, do you mean Evil Dead 2?" And I really wish I did.
Even Google is like, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah.
wait a
Are
minute.
you sure about this?
And Borp is sure because he's forcing us at gunpoint to watch them.
Oh,
So
this is completely unrelated to anything. Matt famously hates coleslaw. There is a Saw ripoff called Slaw that we're gonna watch at some point. We're gonna make
We're
Matt
not.
suffer through this. We're watching this.
we're not watching that. I did not agree to that. The end, everybody.
Or heard and agree.
Attend this.
Thank you for listening to everyone. We're done. This episode is just fucking foobar. And cut.